Welcome to my presentation. In this presentation, we shall see how to represent proper fractions. Let us take an example here. In this example, we're going to represent a proper fraction. So, in this example, I'm going to draw a circle and then divide the circle up into 4 parts. This is part 1, 2, 3, 3, and 4. So if I were to shade 2 parts or half of this circle like that, we're going to come back and then write this in terms of, or represent this in terms of a proper fraction. So the steps we want to follow are as follows. Step number 1. The circle has 4 parts. This is a circle, and this has 4 parts to it, as we have seen. In step number 2, the thing we want to recognize is 2 out of 4 parts is shaded. 2 out of the 4 parts is shaded. And therefore, in step number 3, we can come back and then write it as 2 parts out of the 4 parts is shaded, and therefore we can also we can write this one as 2 parts out of the 4 parts is shaded, and therefore since the numerator is less than the denominator, let me write that here. The numerator is represented as NR is less than the denominator. The denominator is represented as DR. Since the numerator is less than the denominator, therefore whenever the numerator is less than the denominator, we call those types of fractions as proper fractions. Proper fractions. This is how we want to understand the proper fraction examples. Let me take another example. Let me explain another example here. This time I want to take a triangle and explain the proper fractions concept there. So here, let me draw a triangle. We have a triangle, and I'm going to draw another triangle inside this triangle, and I'm going to label these parts as 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if I were to shade these parts of this triangle, if I were to shade 3 parts of this triangle, we can then come back and then write them out in terms of steps as follows. Step number 1. The triangle has 4 parts. This is a triangle, and this triangle has 4 parts to it. And then in step number 2, what we want to recognize is that the 3 parts out of the 4 parts are shaded. 3 out of 4 parts, 3 out of 4 parts of the triangle are shaded, right? And therefore, in step number 3, we can then come back and then write it in terms of a fraction. 3 parts out of the total of 4 parts are shaded. Therefore, we can write it as a fraction in this manner. Since in the 4th step, we're going to then make a decision here by saying that since the numerator which is represented as NR is less than the denominator number which is represented as DR, the numerator is 3 and the denominator is 4. Since the numerator is less than the denominator, we're going to therefore call these types of fractions as proper fractions. Proper fractions. And that is how we want to be able to illustrate these with these types of examples. Okay. In my next presentation, we shall see how to represent improper fractions.